Welcome to episode 6 of Maxing Your Music Creation Experience Without Touring. And this is a fun one. I think you'll enjoy it. We're targeting local, regional musicians that want to create original music. We're not targeting people with cover bands or tribute bands. If you have the desire to create original music, if you're maybe over 40 years old and past your rock star years, but you're proficient and practiced on your instrument, and you have either a tight band or a group of music associates that you can work with. Maybe you have a family, maybe you have a career, maybe you have both, but you don't want to tour, you don't want to play in bars till 2 a.m., but you want to play big rooms with sizable, eager audiences, just like the bands you admire, then this is for you. Way back in episode 1, we talked about being ready with a compelling product. In episode 2, we talked about thinking big. In episode 3, we talked about royalties. In episode 4, we talked about the songs. I think I have those backwards. I think episode 3 was the song, episode 4 was royalties. And then in episode 5, we talked about booking local. Now comes the fun part. Talk about booking opening acts. So in booking opening acts, first number one thing is they do not want cover bands. If you want to do these shows, you must have compelling original music. That's just must. 2, the hit rate on these is low because touring acts many times will do an evening with, which is no opener, or they will travel with another band. And nowadays I'm finding that the other band they travel with is an equal headliner, especially in the catalog rock realm. You're looking for a band who in their heyday used to be able to fill a stadium, and now they can only fill a theater, or maybe not even fill it anymore. So they're looking for somebody to come in and provide an opener for them to warm up the audience. There are plenty of those bands around. Yeah, most of them don't have original members in it anymore, but they still draw, and those are fun to play. So I'll tell you a story about our opening act show. We were prepared. We had our first CD called Trifecta, already getting local airplay on 1 commercial FM station and 2 college stations. And then we got an opportunity because of our drummer having a connection with Styx's drummer. And I did some research to know that they were not touring with anyone for this particular visit. Every time they've come back since, they've been touring with somebody. So I was very fortunate there. And I'll tell you how, at the end, the promoter is who considered us due to the recommendation from Styx's drummer, Todd Zuckerman. They hired us after hearing the CD. What we should draw from that is we were prepared and we got an opportunity. Remember, luck equals where opportunity and preparedness intersect. Both of those things happened for us. That got us our first one. 5 months later, we got to open for Aaron Neville, where I had made a connection at the venue. And I'll just shorten the story to say that the venue hired us, not the promoter, after hearing the CD and after seeing Styx on our resume. Then, some 6 months later, we got booked to open for ZZ Top. I had previously reached out to Deepak's general manager because we had those 2 shows on our resume, and he talked to us not necessarily because of the resume, but because he remembered us from a show he had seen in a park 3 months earlier, which I had no idea about. He mentioned it. We didn't know who was out there, but we played our best and must have impressed him because he remembered it. And tip number 6, play every show as if it's a big one, because that sort of thing can happen. You never know who's listening. So in that situation, the venue, not the promoter, hired us after seeing us and having Styx and Aaron Neville on the resume. One other thing I want to say about that is that you want to make sure you also do the research. I mentioned it earlier that we did research about not touring with anyone. I also made sure those other 2 bands were not touring with anyone either. If you do that research, 1, make sure of that they're not touring with anyone. 2, make sure that they match well with the headline. Don't waste the venue's time trying to match up with a country band if you're a jazz band, or if the Celtic act is the headliner and you're a heavy metal band. Don't do that. That's a waste of time, and you're going to not sit well with the venue. You're wasting their time because they know that's not going to draw. The people that are going to be watching that show are not going to be interested in you. And also, be sure you don't book or attempt to book too far ahead. I mean, you could send a note out there and say that you're interested, float it out there, but you want to get closer to the time because they're not thinking about the opening act 6 months ahead or 3 months ahead even. They got 15 tour dates ahead of that, so they're not thinking about that at the time. One thing you'll want to note here is that the venue or the promoter are the decision makers, not the headline band. If you have a connection with the band, all they can do is recommend that you get considered, but they don't have any say in hiring. And I know this not only from the Styx show, but from another show that I happen to know the representative for the band because they were from my hometown, and they eventually just told me, look, you need to talk to the venue. We don't have any control over that. So the venues or the promoters, and then you kind of don't know which one. Sometimes it's one, sometimes it's the other. And I'll say again, as I've urged all through this video session, you have to have a great product. It has to be well produced. It has to really jump out at them. The pitch must include some reason why you're a benefit to this show. For example, it's in my hometown, we can sell tickets, or our music matches up well with them, or, we've played this venue before. I don't know. There are probably several reasons, but you really ought to try to say, here's why you should choose us. And I mentioned before, don't pay to play. Your music, if it's good, has value. And so if you pay to play, you just told them my music's not even worth paying for. And then there's the important thing about if you get the gig, follow the rules. The rules are be polished, be on time at sound check, at start time, and end time. Let me tell you a story. So our first opening act gig, as I mentioned, was with Styx in 2011. When we got there, we set up, and of course we're in awe of, man, we're on the stage with the big guns, and this is going to be awesome, and all that stuff. Anyway, we're looking around and checking everything out because we'd never done that before. And the guitar tech on the side stage saw us looking around and said, hey, come on over here. I want to show you something. Okay. So he starts showing us Tommy Shaw's rig and JY's rig, and here's the pedal board that he controls, not on stage, and talking about stuff like that. And then at the end, he says, let me give you 2 rules for every opening band. Well, that's great. I want to know what those 2 rules are. He says, the first rule is don't go over the end of your time slot. And the second rule is don't forget rule number 1. And the third rule is don't touch the headliner's gear. If you need to move a mic stand or a monitor or, God forbid, one of their amps or something, don't touch anything. Go talk to the stage manager. Make them do it because they got it all marked off and staged and everything. And if you mess it up, that's a problem. You will never get asked back to go to that venue or that promoter or either one again. So, in summary, do the research. Have a compelling and polished show. Ask for the show. Or if you get it, don't break the rules. That's it. And just remember, it's a low hit rate, so you're going to get a lot of no's before you get a yes. And again, my background, I'm in a mid-sized music market in Raleigh, North Carolina. I spent many years in my band playing covers before I finally morphed into doing more original stuff, and thus got local theaters and opening shows and royalties out of the deal. I did all this after I was 40 years old. But again, there's no formula. If you enjoyed this video or any of the other previous videos, please give them a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the band's YouTube channel and the band. If you're interested in the band, we are the Will McBride Group, www.willmcbridegroup.com. And I've really enjoyed sharing this information with you. Hope it's helpful for you. Hopefully we'll see you again. In the meantime, be well.